there. Welcome. What a great welcoming that was. And welcome to Starr Talk. You know, when we get on to shows about Starr Talk, we're talking about success. It could be success in the field of entertainment, maybe screenwriting, acting, public speaking, writing books, or relationships is what I love. And today I have with me a top specialist in the field of psychotherapy and relationships. Welcome, Dr. Pat Allen.
Thank you for having me. I really like being here.
Just great being here with you. I've learned so much from you in the past, and we've talked about so much, and my life is really much better, much clearer after I've learned from you, and I have to tell you that.
Good. So I've been one of your teachers.
Absolutely.
Okay.
One of the great was about femininity and masculinity.
Right. Magnetism and dynamism.
And for years, I left Los Angeles several years ago, and I felt that there was a healing process that went on. And I felt that I got much more or too much into my feminine side.
Okay.
And when I came back to Los Angeles with my screenplays and my books and my desires to be in programming, started coming to your seminars right away. And one of the first things I learned from you is if you want to attract and achieve, you have to be in your masculine.
Attract? No.
No.
Promote.
If you want to promote.
See, promoting is taking action. I want something, and I'm going to do what it takes to get it. If you're into attraction, you're into your feminine. And attraction is dependent upon the audience's decision about whether they want you. So we each can attract and promote, but each of us better decide which style suits you best. I personally am much more into attraction because I don't want to make the effort. I have too much fun being a therapist. I have too much fun just letting people lead me wherever they go. You see?
Yes.
I'm not into promotion. I don't want to promote.
Can you tell us a little bit about you? Tell us about your history and how you first got into this work.
I had a complete collapse. See, I am truthfully an artist and a musician. I was a Midwest, Iowa, Catholic, whatever, married at 19, 4 kids by 26, just started going to college when I got married, 1 class a semester, summer school, pregnant, non-pregnant. I was in college 27 years, and then my husband got an opportunity to come out to teach school in Anaheim, and I tracked him out here. So I changed schools and went to Cal State to get a master's degree in art, fine arts. I was teaching art at ghetto school in Santa Ana, and an art room in a ghetto school is a classroom with weapons. And I found I really liked the kids like me, and I liked them. Well, he left. He said, "You're going to leave me someday, so I'm going to leave you." So he left, and there I was. And I decided I started going to therapy.
With your 4 kids?
Yeah, I had 4 kids, and in those days I got $75 a kid for child support, and had to go to work pretty much for the first time. So when I came out here, but he left. And basically, I had to rebuild. And I started going to therapy and started studying therapy at Cal State. And I had the marvelous opportunity to be with Marilyn Bates and David Kiersey, who did Please Understand Me, the Myers-Briggs. I'm an INTJ. And so gradually, I just started switching from a master's degree in art over to a master's degree in counseling. Graduated, did the internship, became a therapist.
And what would you say is the major things that you are an expert in now?
I'm a transactional analyst. I'm a communications specialist. Beware of your thoughts, they become words. Beware of your words, they become habits. Beware of your habits, it becomes your character. Beware of your character, it becomes your destiny at the bank, the doctor's office, and in your love life, your home life. You see? So it's watch your mouth, but it really means that. So I'm a cognitive behavioral therapist who's a certified addiction specialist, and I'm a transactional analyst.
Tell me about addiction, because I work with a lot of people in a fairly new phenomena. It's not brand new anymore, but so many people are addicted to the internet.
Oh, yeah, well,
They're
that's
addicted.
just one form of
Right,
addiction.
exactly.
Okay, well, when you're born, in the first 3 years, you're supposed to have a loving family, not, you see. So little girls need to be cherished by daddy, and little boys need to be respected by mommy. Freud did his whole career on that. The problem is we rarely get enough of our needs met in this complicated world. And so what happens, we get little wounds to our little psyches. Do you see what I'm saying? And so as we start to develop, we've got to learn how to be human beings. So people are the first level of love. Then nature. There are people who have better dogs and cats and frogs and lizards than people. Brothers, sisters, moms, and dads. Well, if you don't have people and you don't get to have a lizard, then guess what you get? You get things. And that's computer things, reading things, watching television things, drinking things, sex things. You start turning everything into a gratification system. So when you are addicted, you have no God. When you're addicted, you have a spiritual problem. You have no place to get love. So you're groveling around here with junk, trying to get love from junk. And then if you get into self-help programs or therapy, you climb up the ladder, and you finally get to the place where you get love from people. And that's what I do.
So when you're a child, if you're given toys and games to fill you up or to keep you busy.
Distract you,
right.
Yeah.
So as we become adults, we just look for different toys.
kind of toys. You see, Ashley Montague wrote a book, Touching. Kids need to be talked to and touched in those first 3 years. Well, if you stick a kid, remember the old days they put kids in playpens and we were the television show and the kids went around the playpen? There are no playpens anymore. Then they put the kids in front of the TV set. Do you remember? And they watch the TV. It was Leave It to Beaver and Lucy and whatever. Well, have you ever seen a 3-year-old on a computer lately?
Yeah,
They're awesome. So now they're into inanimate objects with inanimate animation, do you see? And what's happening is the kids are getting too feral. Do you know what feral is?
No.
They're getting too wild animal. They wear designer clothes, but they're animals. They have no conscience. Freud said that you've got to have enough guilt to be neurotic. And if you're not neurotic, you don't fit society. So feral people are gangbangers. They kill you and they don't even break a sweat because they've not been talked to, they've not been touched, they do not have guilt, and they have no empathy.
And that really is a definite problem in today's society.
The last issue, last year, before the millennium, of the American Psychological Association was talking about how's business going to be. If people keep not talking and not touching their kids and each other, my business is going to go right through the ceiling. But so will the warden in the jail, because we're going to have more and more feral people. Do you see?
What is sex lives? What is sex going to be like 10, 20 years from now? It's going to be
it depends on if we pretty well did ourselves in with our little AIDS project we're doing here. So you don't mess around with Mother Nature. If we continue to have sex and not make love, we're going to destroy ourselves. Because having sex is an object game. Making love is a human experience. To make love, you've got to be physical, mental, and emotional. To have sex, you just have to have a body.
I have a question here that someone sent in because they knew I was going to be talking with you. One question is, my boyfriend is putting a lot of pressure on me. He seems to like it when I show off my body to others, and he wants me to get a job as a dancer. I'm 24 and he's 33. She says, I'm not sure about this. That's part one. Part two is that people are in relationships, are trying to get their mates into threesomes, swinging.
Swinging.
I really don't understand this at all.
Oh, it's very understandable. When a man has a woman as an object, she better not have a wrinkle, and all that collagen better hold together, and nothing better sag past nothing. Do you see what I mean? because he has bought her as an object. That's sex. Luckily, those guys go impotent as rocks by 50.
Really?
Oh, yeah. You know why?
No.
Because, well, of course, it's good for the Viagra business, but if you don't learn to make love before midlife, you can't have sex afterwards. See, making love is a whole human process. Having sex is a body process, and as the testosterone goes down, he doesn't have the oomph. Do you see what I mean? So, truthfully, and women that have sex with people they don't know or don't like do not develop a lot of responsiveness. Do you see? And that can pretty well, quote, dry up everything. So, with that in mind, sex is sex and making love is making love. So the man that wants her to run around naked wants a trophy girlfriend that will cause other men to envy his property. But she is not his woman. Because a man who's in love with a woman has a tendency to cover her up.
Right.
Don't wear that, because he doesn't want anybody to look at her.
Right. And
you see?
The woman will swear that her husband is in love with her or her boyfriend is in love with her, and he tells her, of course,
yes,
how in love with her.
watch the actions.
Exactly.
Watch the actions. Talk is cheap. Do you see? And the other question about the swinging, that's more sex. Nature wants all male animals to be polygamous. Do you see? And it wants all female animals to be monogamous.
Wow.
So that the progeny is kept safe. Do you see?
Wow.
So it's really pretty physical. So swinging is a man's way of getting to other women with his woman's approval.
And also, you get women now who are in the masculine side,
Yeah,
who try to get their man into swinging. It's the same thing.
no difference. But that lady's a man.
Right.
Do you see?
Tell me about what is the difference between dating now and dating 20 years ago? Now we'll go backwards 20 years.
20 years ago, society wrote the rules for dating. Whether it's Mexican chaperones, you have to have a chaperone, or Midwest laws, girls will, boys won't, above the waist, below the waist, all that marvelous religious and societal stuff. Now, freedom of choice. God gave mankind freedom of choice, and now we're giving it to each other.
Wow.
So actually, it's a very creative moment in reality, because now you can do anything you want. Do you see? But you have to decide what it is. People can't scare us too much with eclipses much anymore, and I don't know how many people believe in hell, but, it's just not the same world. Too much television and too many books. We know, there is no boogeyman. See, he is us. And so for that reason, we can decide. I tell people, if you're comfortable doing what you're doing, do it. Just take it to the end of the line. Don't do anything you don't want to pay for. So if you have casual sex, I have a gal that I know, her boyfriend, she pretty much knew he had hepatitis C, but you know what she did? She didn't do anything. Now, she's got hepatitis C, and scarier, without marriage, they managed to create a little child. Now, that little child has got to be tested for hepatitis C at 1, which is just a few months away. So I watch a lot of these games. Where's our head? Sometimes I think they should take and inject Midwest in California, because no common sense.
No,
Where's your head?
It goes right out the window.
Where it goes out the window is with using drugs and alcohol. See?
To numb you.
Yeah. As soon as a woman uses drugs or alcohol, and that includes sugar, because you can get pretty drunk on that too. As soon as you mind alter...
Chocolate?
Yeah, chocolate. As soon as you mind alter, when women mind alter, they tend to climb up into their head and think they're so smart they can do dumb things. Opposite for men. When men use, they tend to climb out of their logical head and get into their bingy, do whatever I feel like doing. How many times have you read, and he was a little drunk and he shot the so-and-so, or he raped the so-and-so? Do you see?
And so what makes it easier for the woman after a couple of drinks to be able to sleep with a man?
Because she dulls her natural sense of fear.
Oh, okay.
She dulls her fear. She just thinks it's a good idea, and he talks her into it.
I see.
You see?
You know, if you don't mind, we'll have a member of our audience ask you a
Sure.
question in a second or two.
I don't mind.
Okay, good. But here's another question. I wonder what you think about women who have sex on the second or third date. Will this tend to keep a relationship fairly superficial? In general, will a guy think more or less of a woman he can have sex with so easily, or are men not so judgmental?
Men are not that judgmental. Men really appreciate men with women's bodies. Let me just say that. Because a good couple of guys getting together with different bodies, body traders, you know what I mean?
Thank you.
Right.
Yeah.
Those body traders have a great time for a little while.
Yes.
But see, you can't read the same book that often. And pretty soon, you know what chapter 3 is.
Yeah.
And so then you go, it's been nice, but let's move on. But in the meantime, she has fallen in love physically. She's bonded to him. Now she gets to say, I feel used. And he goes, what part of your body was more used than what part of my body?
Right.
Young men, have a tendency not to bond. Old men, young women, bond.
Okay, explain that before.
Bonding, chemistry,
Okay.
oxytocin,
Okay.
which is a chemistry that bonds mommies to babies.
Yes.
It also bonds young women to men and old men to young, hard-body women.
So what happened? What would be the healthy way for things to progress as a younger person?
As a young man, basically his goal is to get it, right?
Right. Okay.
Now, whoever he's with better be old, because he can make it with an older woman like you can't believe. Because an older woman is just like he is. That's two guys.
Okay.
Do you see? But a young woman with a young man is going to bond to him. Do you see?
Right.
And he's not necessarily going to bond to her. And an older man is going to hopefully not bond to Miss Gold Digger Hardbody, or she's going to run off with him, the money, and then he's going to end up dead. And I'll tell you why. Because older men are very, very, very sensitive. And when they find out they were stupidly seduced away from a good lifestyle, they very often die.
Wow.
You say?
Yes. Well, I don't think I want to see that. But we have a question from the audience.
Hi.
Between young and old.
That's right. So you've got multiple choice.
So, well, at one level, and it also adds to confusion. I've come out here from another part of the country where things were not quite as free. And in that, I know that young for me is not exactly what I want, because I know it won't last long. But on the other hand, old is not what I want either, because I'm realizing that those women are indeed very playful and are set in their ways.
Yes.
Do you have some advice for someone who has been around, has been married a couple of 3 times, and knows what love is, also knows what sex is, enjoys them both, but wants them both?
It's called Kiss a Lot of Frogettes.
Aha, thank you.
It's a lot of, keep your stats up. Date 3 at a time, always 3, never 1. No less than 3 women at a time.
That
Use
sounds like an
internet,
enjoyable.
use ads, keep your exposure capabilities really high.
Now you call this duty dating. Is that
Duty
correct?
dating.
Could you
Yeah.
explain that? Because also you have a movie coming.
I got a movie coming out, right. There's a movie that's being marketed by Showcase International, Match.com, and myself that is based on my principles and on my work. And it's coming out in New York. It came out in May 16th in Los Angeles. We had 600 people, and it got a good review then.
Right.
It's not sold to the houses yet because we need a distributor. We need somebody to pick it up. So it's going to New York on 42nd Street at the AMC on October 3rd. And hopefully it's coming back to LA, and it's going out to 8 other cities.
Great.
But duty dating is the principle of dating people that you don't particularly think you're going to end up with. Do you see? It's just, you're duty dating. Just what it sounds like, cotillion. You remember cotillion was where you went to dance classes as a kid to learn how to socialize. The upper classes did that. Well, duty dating is, you don't have to be sure that this person is going to be your love object or your future wife or your husband. It's called, let's just go out and have a good time. If something happens, fine. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
So many people say, I can't just date anyone. I have to have this or I have to have that.
Well, guess what? I hope they like being spinsters or bachelors. Because you've got to be with, in today's world, there's so many people, so many styles of people. You've got to date, just to sieve out the people that are compatible with you.
So I know you said that women hear. Could you explain that?
Well, feminine people hear
Yes,
good
yes,
deals.
Yes.
Masculine people see good lays.
Okay.
So you're either kind of laid or paid.
Could you explain that now? Because
What part of laid or paid do you want me to draw?
maybe I did want to understand that because when I sit in your audiences, the one question that
At the
makes
Odyssey Theater.
yes, the one question that makes people's
On Monday.
Monday nights at 7. One
Yeah.
thing that makes people's eyes flutter is when you say, "Do you want to get paid or do you want to get laid?"
That's right.
And they start going like this. And so, explain that.
Do you want the sensuous and sexual as Harvard studied, or do you want status and security? It's just my profane way to get you to listen. Do you see what I mean?
So, if you want the status,
If you want the status, then you better have a very healthy, attractive body. Not necessarily beautiful. You don't have to get surgically removed and whatever. Just be healthy. Be clean and healthy. Do you see?
Right.
And basically get yourself out there and look in the eyes and smile.
tell me about that now. It's a masculine thing to go up to another person
And speak.
and that's the masculine.
That's the masculine. That's yang.
And the biggest problem is so many people who say, well, I want to be the feminine one and I want people to come up to me.
But then they go up.
Right, they still
go up. She goes up and says, hi, my name is, isn't this a nice whatever? And he goes, oh, and Mama's here. Masculine's here. I don't have to do anything. She'll call me. She'll date me.
And she
She'll
will.
pay her way. No, she won't. Sometimes she will. Sometimes she won't. Because if she didn't know that she was being masculine and she was masculine, then she drops back. Now I've got a man who's feminine and a woman who's feminine. What happens? They just stare at each other across a crowded room.
So what's the best thing for a feminine energy, mostly a woman, to do to attract a man that she wants?
Look in his eyes and smile, just like every 3-year-old. You ever notice those little kids? They look and they smile and you end up, ah, they get you every time. So it's the same. Look in people's eyes. You could see who they are in their eyes and their smile. You know, I'm friendly. And do it 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, out. That just says, I'm rejecting you. But if you stay there and you smile and you look in their eyes, they're going to say, that person is attracting me to them. They aren't going to hurt me. They want me to approach them. Drunks and nerds need no signals, but nice men do. You see?
Yes, okay.
All right. And you know what guys say about the gals? They look down. They go out in herds, 2 and 3 and 4. They go out in herds, and then they sit there like this.
Yeah.
And they say, look what's wrong with men today. They don't have the guts to come over. Why should they?
You're not encouraging them.
You're acting like you're either, just out of the convent or you're basically married. What are they going to do?
So I always say that if you do make eye contact
Yes.
and smile, you make it a lot safer for someone to come over and
You
say hello.
got it.
And
Absolutely.
then you've gotten them to do the masculine thing by
That's
coming
right.
over.
And anybody, even if it's dumb, I usually tell guys, get your hand up. I promise.
I promise.
On my honor.
On my honor.
If I want to be respected
If I want to be respected
by a desirable woman,
by a
I
desirable
will
woman,
walk up
I will walk up
and say something.
and say something.
So help me God.
Help me God. Thank you.
All right.
Okay. One of the scariest things that I'm seeing in the world today
Yes?
are the teenagers, the high schoolers.
Mm-hmm.
And all I hear about is
Mhm.
if someone has a young, handsome kid at home, that the girls are falling like
swamping.
crazy.
That's right. You know why?
Why?
In a divorce. Now remember, marriage is down by 45%. The people that are married are trying to stay married, but there's a lot of single moms out there. When a family splits up, generally the daughters lose their daddies way too much, and the sons get too much mama. Do you see what happens? And so these daughters are man-hungry. They want to be around the feminine, sensitive side of a man. And they don't know that they're watching mom going to work every day. They're watching mom struggling to raise these kids. And dad bips in with his new teeny bopper girlfriend, and bips right back out again. Do you see what I mean?
Yes.
So the girls are seeing that women's lib. Let's get out there and chase.
I believe that they're setting themselves up for a more difficult.
What they're setting themselves up for are either bad men. You know who's winning the girls today? Bad guys. Drug addicts, alcoholics, abusers. Do you know why? Because bad guys know how to get women under their thumb.
Yes.
You will do it my way, or I'll. You see what I mean?
And they react.
And the interesting thing is, even in that pathological way, the women feel more feminine. Oh, I'm a little woman. Do you see what I mean? Good guys are coming up last because good guys are courteous, good guys are deferential, and the women take the gentleness as weakness, discount them. They'd rather go with married guys or bad guys. Do you see? Because they're more men. They're not more masculine. They're just more powerful. But power is not potency.
You've written 2 wonderful books.
Yes.
We have less than a minute left. Tell me a little bit about it.
Getting to I Do, which is the way they titled it, Getting to I Do is about how to be, mostly it's written towards women, how to be a feminine woman, Leslie, how to be a masculine woman. Staying Married and Loving It, which they named, and I don't like, is about being in a relationship, how to communicate. You know, the title says, Staying Married and Loving It. How to get what you want from a man without asking. Get a man who gives it without asking.
Great. Well, we thank you very much for being here with us, Dr. Pat. If
You're
anybody
welcome.
would like to reach Dr. Pat, they can at my email address. My name's Rob J. Starr. I hope to see you again here again real soon. Thanks for coming. Bye-bye now.
Thank you.
Thank you.